Christ Hope is a ministry that works in 7 countries in sub-Saharan Africa. We're focused on AIDS-affected, orphan and vulnerable kids. And the first time I went to Africa, I remember holding a little boy named Joma. And Joma was 5 years old. He had AIDS, he had open sores in his mouth, he was skin and bones, he was lethargic, and they didn't know if he was going to make it. And I just remember understanding that Joma's mother was there also. She had AIDS. His dad had already died of AIDS. His sister had died. And this was a beautiful family that had been blown apart because of AIDS. And so Joma, thank God, has been able to get better because of drugs and ARVs. And even though we've come a long way in helping AIDS, it's still a huge issue. But children like Joma are vulnerable to being pushed off into orphanages and neglected and trafficked. And so we come in to help children like Joma be able to stay in families through the support that we do. We have about 1,700 children in our program right now. Interesting little thing, we started out, Christ Hope started out doing children's homes. But we quickly realized that the majority of children in the children's homes had families. And we moved in 2010 to a family-based preservation model. And we've seen a dynamic change and transformation in kids who are able to grow up in families versus institutional care.
Dave, I just want to thank you for Christ Hope. It's had a personal impact on my life. You attended our church, I think it was like 9-10 years ago, and you had all these little cards of these kids that, that we could sponsor. Out of that whole group of kids, I picked one child, and her name is Antonia Anthony Meadows. She was in the 4th grade. She just entered your program. We began writing with each other back and forth, and I understand now she's graduated, she's looking to go on to a university, and now our next step is trying to figure out how I can continue to support her in her endeavors, because I've grown to love this little girl, you know, and so it's been probably the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life, because, you know, I think of that old analogy, that person who was after the ocean kind of blew all these clams onto the beach, right? Yeah. And the guy's throwing the clams back, and somebody approaches him and says, you know, you're not making much of a difference. And he goes, well, I just made a difference to that one clam, right? That's how I feel with Antonia. I can't help every child in Africa, but I've been able to help one. And now since then, my wife has joined on, and we're now supporting 2 new ones. So it's been very rewarding, and again, just want to thank you for all you do.
Thank you. And so our children now, the first children, Larry sponsors one of the children that was part of that. Antonia, she was able to live with her family, and she's graduating from high school in October. And she'll be exiting the program and going on to university. And she's a great testimony of the impact of this ministry, helping children to be not just healthy physically and academically and spiritually, but emotionally, is that they really grow because they have family. They're not orphans anymore. They have families, and they live in families. Yeah, and I just really want to thank Centennial Wealth. Thank you so much for believing in us and being a partner with us and supporting us in this. This is huge and has a great impact directly to the kids in our program. So thank you.